Hi there, crafty friend. It's Anna with Anna from Lucy Paper Crafts, and thanks for tuning in to my new online class featuring Stampin' Up's Trucking Along bundle. This is the stamp set, and there's a coordinating punch, and I want to show you how to make 3 really nice and easy cards featuring this bundle. So without further ado, let's hop on over to my crafting station and get stamping. Okay, so I have my pre-cut pieces over here. Let me show you real quick what's inside. I have my basic white thick cardstock card base, regular 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Then I have 3 square pieces here. This is the largest square in the Stylish Shapes dies. Then I have some Pool Party that is going to layer behind it. I think this one is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And then I have some Misty Moonlight cut to 3 by 3. And then I have 2 extra pieces also from the Stylish Shapes dies, this circle. And I think it's the one that's right in the middle. I think there's 5, so either the third smallest or the third largest, either way. And then I have here in Pool Party this starburst shaped circle where we're going to stamp our sentiment. And because I didn't want it to show through here the frames, I looked through my other die cut shapes. You could also punch it, you know, if you have one, and we're just going to lay that behind there. So I'll show you in a second. Okay, so let's start with our stamping. So I have my basic white square here, and I'm going to grab my basic gray ink pad. Let me get that card base out of the way until I actually need it. And I'm going to stamp my truck outline. So make sure that's inked up. And let's see here. Okay, right there. Then I'm going to take my tires. Here there's an extra filling stamp. If you want to, you can also just use your Stampin' Blends to color this in. Let's see if I can line that up. Okay, looks good. And then I'm going to use, oh, hold on, since we have the basic gray open, I'm also going to stamp my little flower pots there. So same color, and since it's photopolymer, you can line it up nicely on your truck. Okay, and now there is also a filling stamp for that in the stamp set, but and I used it here on my card, but it wasn't really giving me any extra outlines. So I'm going to go ahead and close this first because we're done with basic gray. I'm using my Pool Party Stampin' Blend, and I'm going to just simply color in my flower pots, all 3 of them. And as you can see, I'm actually just dabbing it because the Stampin' Blends, it's an alcohol-based ink, so it likes to spread out. So I just like to tap it there a little bit. Now I'm coming in with my dark Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going to color what that filler stamp would do, which is kind of these little thingies here. So you can kind of do whatever you want. And then around these little dots here. So I'm going to just color around there a little bit. And then the same over here. Wherever there's a dot in the middle, it's kind of supposed to be a flower. And then I'm coming in with my light Old Olive, because there's no filler stamp actually for the leaves, so I'm just going to go ahead and now use my Old Olive, the light one, like I said, and I'm just going to color it in here a little bit. again, this is not a very defined stamp, so this might actually almost be quicker, and it gives you a little bit more options there to just color it in. So maybe something like that. So if you wanted to, instead of, so on my sample card, I stamped it. Let's see if I can get that into focus. Sorry, I shook the camera. So here I stamped the Daffodil Delight, and then I colored in with Old Olive. And now here I just went straight ahead and I colored it. So either way, you know, instead of using just one ink pen and then one blend, you could do that as well. Now, whoops, but now it's definitely out of focus. I'm bringing in my Misty Moonlight ink pad, and I'm going to need some scrap paper. Lots of stamps with this one. And then I have my filler stamp for my truck. Going to ink that up. Then I'm going to stamp it off because I want a lighter shade. Ooh, and I moved a little bit, so we'll see how that turns out. So, one looks good. Okay, so lighter shade. And let's see, then I'm going to, since I have my Misty Moonlight open, I'm going to take my circle shape here. That way we don't have to open and close all the stamp pads, the ink pads. Okay, let's see here. So it should fit right in the middle of it. I'm sorry if my hair is now in the way. A lot of reflection going on here. Okay, looks good. Now we can close it. We don't need that. And then I just need my Pool Party ink pad and stamp two little clouds over here. So I'm just going to stamp this one off to the side and just do another one right there. Okay, so now we have just a little bit of a scenery, really minimal scenery going on there. All right, so, and that is all the stamping. Let me get that out of the way. So now we can go ahead and assemble our card. So let's start with these first. Okay, we can use our stamp and seal here. So our stitched square goes on to Pool Party. And then that one goes onto our Misty Moonlight. So, and that's how easy it is to, you know, give your very basic die cut shape just a little bit of extra dimension. Just if you combine, you know, pick up two of the ink colors that you used and layer something behind it. So this also works with circles or, you know, anything like nesting dies that you have, or if it's, you know, you can pretty much like easily cut a square. So, and then we are taking this one here. Let me put the ink on this. So I really love these new Round We Go dies. They're so fun. And you can, as you can see, you can use them for lots of different projects. Okay, let's see. I'll flip this around. So it won't show the stitching, but it's really just to have, you know, all the white little diamond shapes covered in basic white. So, because it looked kind of weird with the frame popping out there. So, all right, and now this can go onto our card base. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I'm trying to get about the same distance here. How's it look? Okay, there we go. And now here is really where it gets a little bit tricky, but that's just probably because I'm picky about my dimensionals. So I'm going to put, let's see here, 1, 2, 3. So I know this is going to be covered. So I'm just going to put those there. And now, let's see if I can show you on my card. So I double layered small ones on these two sides. So let me show you how I do that. And it's simply because every piece of cardstock layer that you have is going to create a difference in height for your dimensionals. It does make a difference. So what I like to do is then I take the small ones and I just double layer them. So there we have 1 and 2. Okay. So now let's see here about there. And then I put one there. So this way now my sentiment here isn't getting all wonky. It has a little bit of more support there as well. But because I have these extra layers of cardstock, it does want to get a little bit wonky there. So that's all I'm trying to do here. So you can leave them off, or you can just use your regular dimensionals. They're just one layered, but I love that I can layer them to create more height. Okay, everything off. Yep. Okay, and then we'll place our sentiment. Let's see if I can get it somewhat straight on there. That looks good. All right, there we go. And there's card number 1. Okay, so for card number 2, we're also going to start off with a basic white thick cardstock card base. Again, it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. And then I have a piece of crumb cake cardstock. This is, I think, 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then I have the Country Woods Designer Series paper. And that is 5 by 3 3/4. So we can go ahead and layer that on there. Oh, we're not going to need this much. Okay. Oops. I hope I'm not running out of seal right now. So we can just put that on there. Let's see, did I? Okay, looks good. Okay, and we can just go ahead and while we're on it, we'll put it on our card base. Okay, let's see. There's a little bit more texture here. I think I like that on the bottom. Oh, so that was definitely not evenly spaced. So if you're quick about it, even with the Stampin' Seal, you can adjust it a little bit. Okay, so that is that. Now then I have 2 more pieces. So I used our nested essentials dies to die cut the largest banner from Basic White and then one of the medium ones. It's not the smallest one, so the 3rd largest or the 2nd smallest from Daffodil to Delight. And what I did here, or what I love to do, is actually layering them, because they do have, you know, they're nested essentials, so they really go nicely together. And what I did is, you can do it with your scissors. I don't know. I'm never happy. I feel like I never get a straight cut. So what I'm just gonna do is place my piece of cardstock here in the trimmer about halfway, and just cut it in half. Okay, so that's all I did there. Get that out of the way, making sure my camera is in focus. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, you have 2 pieces of crumb cake here. So one is just like that. And what I'm going to do is I put a little bit of stamp seal here on the back. So by all means, you can, you know, of course, just cut your piece. So you see I have a little bit of adhesive there. What I like to do is this. Let's see here. Okay. So I put that down there. And instead of trying to wiggle around, you know, wrapping my twine around and tying a teeny little bow that I like, I just like to kind of do it in 2 steps. So you just wrap it around, and then when I'm basically done with putting all my pieces together, I can just use some liquid glue and put my bow on there. So in a second step. So that's all we're going to do. So let's put this aside for now. Let's do some stamping. So like I said, this is the basic white cardstock. So I'm bringing in my crumb cake ink pad, and let's stamp our sentiment first because I want to make sure that it is in the right spot. So by the way, here's a tip. If you struggle with getting too much ink all around when you ink up your stamps, it does help if you turn it, you know, portrait, and, you know, rather go back and forth. Also, it forces you to use not just, you know, always the middle of your ink pad, but also the sides, because you get a lot of, you know, ink over there. So let's see here just one more time, making sure since I'm talking so much. And I will stamp it right up here, hopefully straight. Sending you sunny thoughts. Oh, looks good. Okay. And then we have our truck outline. Also going to stamp that in crumb cake, doing the same thing. So now I'm going to stamp that down here. You want to leave a little bit of space right there. Yeah, I'll show you in a second. You want to leave a little bit of space right there for your flowers. We're also going to stamp those in crumb cake. That way all the outlines are tone and tone. Let's see. Oh, that was probably a little bit dry, but that's fine. Looks good. And let's see. Oh, our tires. Again, you can color them in with Stampin' Blends. That's what I actually did on this card because we do have Stampin' Blends in crumb cake. On the first card, I stamped it because we don't have basic gray as the Stampin' Rights. Stampin' Blends, sorry. Okay. Let's see here. Looks good. And now let's close that up. And I'll bring in my Pool Party ink pad. All right. And of course, I have some dogs barking now in the background. So let me make sure that's clear. And again, just inking that up. So this time I'm going to stamp the full color. Oh, it looks kind of weird, doesn't it? I think my ink pad is getting a little bit foamy. So we'll see how that turns out. It might have a little bit of a patina texture. Yeah. So sometimes that just happens. And if you have a tip on how to keep your photopolymer stamps from being all bubbly, yeah, I don't know. It's a brand new ink pad. That's probably one of the reasons. So we'll just go with it. It's going to have a little bit of a texture to it, which is actually not a bad thing for these pickup trucks, right? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so it's a little bit of an older truck with some faded color. So, but as you can see, if you take a little bit more time, and it is going to lighten up. So eventually this one will look like that one. Okay, now going back to my Stampin' Blends. Again, you have a filler stamp for the flowers and I think and the leaves. Yes. But I just find it easier to color it real quick. So again, just tap, tap, tap. And I'm not sure if these are all sunflowers, but we're just going to pretend they're all sunflowers. So it goes with our sentiment. Well, it doesn't even need to be sunflowers, right? If you just want to send some sunny thoughts to somebody. All right, so you see how quick and easy that is. Just tapping with the, well, I kind of lost my word there, but So not the brush tip of your Stampin' Blends, the other one. And then just tap a little bit on my stems. So. And a little bit there. All right, there we go. So now we got all our pieces ready to go, and we can assemble our card. Okay, so here's what I did. I'm using the larger or regular Stampin' dimensionals, and I will be a little bit strategic about where I place them. Okay, so these are just a regular, I'll put one in the middle. Okay, so now I'm going to take the backings off here, all 5 of them, and then I'm going to do double layers again because I wanted the Daffodil Delight banner to be popped up from the card, and then I wanted the big banner to be popped up as well. So we're just going to double layer our dimensionals here. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay. So, oh, I hope I didn't. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have. Came a little bit closer to the edge. So what I like to do is I like to use my pokey tool, whatever you have, and if you're somewhat gentle, even if you tear off a little bit of paper. So here's my little mistake there. Oops. Okay, I don't want to peel off all the paper. Not too late. So I'll be okay. So I just have to put them a little bit more inwards. So I have a little bit more. So if you make that little mistake, here is how you can fix it. Just be gentle about it. And now we have to hope that, oops, now it's stuck to my finger. Come on. That I still have some wiggle room there. Yeah, that's enough. Okay, so when you have to pull off something like this, really try and keep your cardstock, you know, your actual die cut piece or punch piece, whatever. Try and keep it as flat as possible so we're not bending it too much. Okay, so, and now we can go ahead and place it right in the middle of our card. About here. Looking good. Okay, so, and now I will pop these up just with 2 small ones. Doesn't need a whole lot. Ah, come on. Backings won't let go. Okay. So now we'll just wiggle it under there and line up the banners. Yep, looks good. Okay, so now we have basically like 3 layers there, 3 dimensions. Although it's not 3D, but I think you know what I mean. So, and now we're going to do the same with this one. So, but I'm going to do 1 in each corner, so 4. Oops. Come on. Okay. I'll just put that on there. My silicone mat is going to catch my backings better. Okay, so, and now I can also line that up. Oops. Wiggle that under there. I think that is about in the middle. And straight with my edge. Okay, so, and like I said, now I can just take my bow here. And yes, I like to use our Tombow. So I have it in these tiny little, you know, applicator bottles. So let's see if I can Get a little bit of that out of there. Okay, so now, and here's the important part. Don't mess with it until it dries. It's gonna go clear. Oops, maybe not over the sentiment, a little bit like this. There you go. So, and it will dry. You can use mini glue dots, and I will trim this end here when it's all dry, so I don't mess with the glue right now and give the glue some time to, yeah, just dry. All right, so, and that is card number 2. So, and here we are with card number 3. Let me show you the pre-cut pieces that I have. Again, basic white cardstock, thick white card base. Then I have another piece of the really fun Country Woods Designer Series paper. This is, oh gosh, I want to say it's like half an inch by 5.5. And then I have some basic white cardstock that is embossed with our exposed brick 3D embossing folder. So I really love this texture. It basically goes with almost anything. And that one is 4 by 5.5. Then I have a scalloped circle die cut, again with the Round We Go dies, and in Pool Party. And then I just have a scrap here to stamp my truck and my presents, and a white baker's twine essential. So that's that's from the same pack as our card number 2 with a crumb cake bow. Okay, so let's go ahead and just glue down some pieces so we have all of that together. So so if you wanted to, you could also use this design and it would still work. And if you don't like the, you know, truck in that color, you could also pick up the, I think this is Petal Pink and, oh, Smoky Slate or Crumb Cake or our new Basic Beige. So you could really use lots of different colors with this. So I'm trying to find, I couldn't find where my Stampin' Seal was. So you want to make sure you get a really good coverage on this adhesive all the way. And then I'm going to line this up better than I just did here on my card base. So eventually it will only be showing a 1/4 inch, not the full 1/2 inch, but well, a 1/4 inch to glue down straight is a little bit tougher, so I went for the 1/2 inch. Okay, so then we have some basic white or embossed layer here, and that goes right on top. So let's see here, line that up. Sometimes the embossing does change the size of your layer a little bit. You can see it here. Now it's a tiny bit shorter than 5.5, but that's okay. All right, so our card base is done. Then we can, let's stamp and punch our truck first. And yes, so for this card, we're finally gonna stamp and actually punch out our truck. So we're gonna start again with basic gray, and we're going to stamp our outline of our truck. Let's see here, does it really matter? No, so the truck. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp the tires as well. Sorry if I'm making a camera shake. Okay. There we go. And then I'm going to, since we have it open, our basic gray, I have a little bit here of stamped a little bit of that texture there. So let's see. To create your road. So I mean, there's lots and lots more scenery stamps that I use now for this class. Let me get some scrap paper. But So more than what I have used now for my 3 cards in this class. So you have lots and lots more possibilities there. Okay, so I think that was, no, our presents, the outline. So, and I'm going to stamp that right here because we're going to fussy cut those. Okay, so that's all done. And now we're going to switch over to Misty Moonlight again. And we're going to stamp our truck. So for the first card we stamped off, and for this one I'm going to leave it, oops, thought I might need some scrap paper, but I don't think I do. This time I'm leaving it in full color. I can line it up right, because I really wanted a dark blue truck. Okay, there we go. Looks good. And now, let's see, do I need one more time? Yep, for our sentiment. So we're going to stamp that also in Misty Moonlight. I love stamping like blues on blues, dark blues on light blues, or dark green, like shaded spruce on lemon lime twist, one of my like all-time favorite stamping combinations, so to speak. So it doesn't always have to be white, since we already have that white layer there. So I'm trying to now somewhat make it work, that my rotor straight and my sentiment there. Okay, so I think we're done with that stamping. And now we're going to color our presents here. So I'm just using both of my Stampin' Blends in Pool Party. So let's see here. I did the dark one. So you can just kind of alternate a little bit or add another color to it if you wanted to. So, but I'm just going to keep it simple. And just go with the Pool Party. Okay, so I did that in the dark, and then I'm switching over to the light one. Again, just kind of dab, 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 dab. Doesn't need to be too complicated. And let's see, which ones did I do? This one and this one. Okay, so, and now probably the longest part on this card is fussy cutting this. And I would actually recommend leaving a little bit there on the back, on the bottom, not the back. Okay, let's see if I can do this on camera in focus, and it would still look somewhat decent. So just going around. As you can tell, I'm focused, trying to still make it look good. So, and when I talk, that may not always work out. So, also, if you know me for a while, I do talk a lot. So this might actually be a welcome little break from Anna talking all the time. So take it as that. Okay, so as you can see, it didn't take too long. If you want to, you can make some little fixes there. I want a little bit more that out. Let's see. Yeah, barely noticeable, so that's okay. I'll leave it at that. We don't need to make it too complicated, right? All right, so, and now I'm actually using the punch. And so that's why I cut off my presents first, because the punch, as you can see, it punches out 4 different parts. The truck outline, the truck itself, then you can punch, so if you wanted to do punch art, you can also just punch, you know, the truck shape itself, then a window, the tires, and then, oh gosh, I don't even know. Well, the tires go, you know, those bumps there. Can you tell I'm not a big car person? I love the look of these trucks, but yeah. So That was pretty loud. So now we have that, and now we can actually go ahead and put a little bit of adhesive down here. Well, I'll just, probably what I'm going to do is just put a little bit there on the back of my truck, and there's the dogs again. So now I can line it up with my presents. So like that. I don't even know, how did I, oh, you know what? I actually cut this off. I didn't layer it behind it. So that's why I don't have that white line in between. But that's okay. That's all right. No big deal. Okay, so now let's go ahead and assemble our card. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 is usually enough for a circle. Okay, let's see if my presents will cover up that little smudge there. Probably not. Oh, it's okay. I thought I had it on the other end. I guess I did not. Okay, so let's see here. That looks somewhat straight. And I guess I can put my truck a little bit further to the side. So again, we're going to put some dimensionals on here. So one up here. And let's see, one there. Is it going to be all the way on top of the gifts? Yeah, so we can do that there too. So I'll put it there, and I'll just use a small one just to give it a little bit more support there, because they're actually the same width or thickness, both of our, like the larger dimensionals and the smaller ones, so you can't combine them. And let's see, won't come off. Oh, I forgot a step. So let me just get these off. A little bow there. So I'm gonna actually bring some mini glue dots in this time. I have so many from these crafting sheets. So where's my, so let's see, I'm gonna put it right there. And I'll just take that backing off. Don't slide under my card. Okay, so there it popped out. And let's see, that's about the same length. So when I know that I have another element gluing, about to glue over another element over my bows, then yes, I'm fine with using mini glue dots. But I'm not going to go into detail by me and mini glue dots right now. If you've been stamping with me for a while, then you know that there's a reason why I'm not the biggest fan of dimensionals. Mini glue dots. I love dimensionals. Oh gosh. Okay, I want this a little bit higher. So, is it going to come off? Okay, let's see. Just a little bit higher. All right, I think that looks good. All right, so now we're at the point where I'm thinking, like, don't overthink it. Just glue it down. Okay. Okay, I should have placed my scallop circle a little bit more to the side, but that's okay now. So here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to put that right there. So my truck is still not, it's not covering my sentiment there. And so now you see I have, that's what I was talking about. Now I have that extra layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another dimensional. I'm showing you some, I wasn't planning on showing you these little tricks that I use when stuff like this happens. So, all right, so I'm going to just take the backings off of both of the sides of the dimensional, and now I'm just going to lay it behind. So now my truck is, leveled and it's not in the way. So now we can trim these a little bit since that's glued down with a mini glue dot just to trim them a little bit. Okay, so And there we go. And there's card number 3. So here's a little tip. Make sure that you space it right. So I put my scalloped circle actually a little bit over here and a little bit further to the left. So I'm not getting too close to this edge. But still a very cute card. Like I said, you can stamp the filling of the truck in many different colors since the designer series paper gives you different options. So if you want to make this a pink truck, you know, for a woman you want to send this card to, then that would be definitely a cool option as well. Very like pale pink, petal pink kind of truck. I think that would look pretty cool too. All right, so and there's card number 3. Now I would love to know which one of these cards is your favorite. Card number 1, card number 2, or card number 3. Leave me a comment below the video so I can find out which one you like the most. And thanks for tuning in, and I see you next time. Bye.